This episode of Out of Spec Reviews is brought to you by Magna. More on that later. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome here to the base of the I-70 stretch where we go into the mountains, which can only mean one thing. We are doing our Hogback Driver Assistance Challenge with the Ford F-150 Lightning. Now, our Hogback Driver Assistance Challenge is the most challenging, and I actually think the only, so it's also the least challenging, driver assistance challenge on YouTube where we attempt to benchmark and test different driver assistance systems or ADAS, Advanced Driver Assistance System, in our series. So it's the F-150 Lightning's turn. It's got BlueCruise, hands-free. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the system, a little bit about the truck, then we're going to take it on our 30-minute loop. You're going to join us for a drive as we evaluate how it does in pretty dense traffic in a hard section of road. So this is the F-150 Lightning. We've been running it through all of our tests, and we've run a few cars through our Hogback Driver Assistance Challenge. The one closest to this, while not a direct competitor, is the Rivian R1T, which pretty much mastered the challenge. It is a 30-mile loop round trip and 50 corners and 1,500 feet of elevation gain in just one direction. So we have a lot of crazy turns, steep grades, traffic, and the Rivian really smoked it. So the big question is, how is the F-150 Lightning going to do? Depending on trim level determines what driver assistance system you get. From base, you can just get some basic forward collision warning and some other things. Then there's like a mid-spec one, and then there's this, which has absolutely everything. So full speed adaptive cruise control, full lane centering, and then on roads that are pre-mapped, such as the I-70 highway behind us, which is why we are here, this will go totally hands-free and we won't touch the wheel. As with all of our driver assistance challenges, we're going to first start with scoring some of the features on the truck. We're going to see what happens if you don't touch the wheel. And then, of course, we're going to jump out on the Hogback Challenge. So these are long videos. They're pretty nerdy, but if you're interested in buying a Ford product with BlueCruise, hopefully this will be educational for you. A little bit about the truck. We try to always choose original equipment spec wheel and tires for our test. This was provided to us from Ford for these reviews, and so we have the 22-inch tires, wheels and tires. I know some of you are going to say, but didn't you get a flat tire the other day in this thing? The answer is yes. Zach, our overlanding presenter, sent it a bit hard off-road, but we just put on a new tire back there, which is a whole 22-inch tire from a Ford dealer. We paid for it. We had it installed. It was like 250 bucks, right, Jordan? Which is like way cheaper than I would ever think. So that's really impressive, the tire cost here. So just wanted to let you know. Other than that, painted in nice, I think it's called Rapid Red Metallic. It's the platinum with all the nice interior. Just take a look real quick. But this is not a review of the truck. This is purely about the driver assistance systems. So what we'll do is we're going to go inside. Jordan and I will evaluate how the scoring system works at the start, and then we have a link in our description that will bring you to our scoring sheet so you can see how this compares to other vehicles. Keep in mind, this is an objective and subjective test because we can't control lighting conditions, because we can't control traffic conditions. Look, 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 look. This is the Scania from Europe. No way! I've been reading about this guy online. That was amazing. I've been reading about that guy online driving across the country in a Euro spec Scania with his Land Rover on the back. That was amazing. I've been driving all up and down I-70 when I've been on the roads kind of looking for him, and I just found him. That was so cool. Anyway, the test is about objective results. How is it going to score? How many times do we have to take over? What's the number? But then we will also give you subjective feedback, what we're feeling, what we're experiencing, and how we're perceiving the system to operate in real time throughout the test. So again, long videos, nerdy, but if you're buying an F-150 Lightning, our goal is to help you learn the most amount possible about your truck. Let's jump in and do the test. You join me in the car now with Jordan and Drew, and we're going to go for a cruise on the Hogback. So Jordan, walk us through our point system and how the F-150 scores at the start of the test.
Yes, really quick, we can award or take away points at the beginning. So does it have a capacitive wheel? No.
No.
Any driver safety eye tracking.
Yes.
Yes.
And the eye tracking works. You know, a lot of people think it's just on for when it's using BlueCruise.
Yep.
With hands-free. However, the eye tracking also watches you if you're in an area that's not pre-mapped.
Yeah, so it gets a lot of good points for that. But it is limited to pre-mapped highways for the hands-free.
Right, so it still lane centers on highways without hands-free, and that's why I think that's the huge competitive advantage over Super Cruise.
Yeah.
Where Super Cruise only works, Rivian's Driver Plus only works on pre-mapped. This is adding a function based off of roads that are pre-mapped, and so I don't think we take away points for that.
Yeah. So gauge cluster does not show cars around, and lane centering does work even if it's not pre-mapped, so that's great.
Yep.
And then for automatic functions, does it adapt to the speed limits? Yes.
It will adapt to a change of speed limit, and you can set a speed limit offset, I think, up to 5 miles an hour in either direction. I'll let you know here in a second. Speed limit assist is what it's called. And you go here, you click on speed warning. So you set it from 0 to 5.
Nice.
Yep.
I do like that.
Yep.
And then we don't know if there's any adaptive system aggressiveness. I didn't see any settings for that.
Do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, so basically it'll change how aggressive the system drives. Like it could, creep up on someone behind you in front of you faster, or back off. Sometimes it's tied to drive mode.
Sometimes it's tied to lane changes like Tesla's stuff.
Yeah.
But no mention of any change of driving behavior.
Yeah.
It is possible though that it is linked to the drive mode of the vehicle, but we've not noticed anything major between normal and sport.
Yep.
So we're not going to give it points.
Yep. And there's no automatic lane changes, so skip that.
That seems like a big miss.
I know. Yeah, I feel like it could definitely do it. And then, yeah, have you ever wanted to know what happens if you just don't touch the wheel? Find out.
Let's lock in the system. Again, we're not going to be using BlueCruise. This will just be Copilot 360 engaging here, lane keeping on. Going to let it lock into the lane. There it goes. Let's see what happens for us to take over. It says BlueCruise on, watch the road, except it's not actually doing the BlueCruise hands-free. But I do believe it still uses the eye tracking if I look away. It says keep hands on steering wheel. So there's our first warning. No chimes or anything. It's still going. Oh, first warning. Keep hands on steering wheel. It's just gone to red. Still just dinging. It still goes. Oh, a little bit of brake there. Watch the road. Okay, that's because I was looking down here. Oh, resume control. Just covering everything.
There's someone behind us.
Hard brake. Hard brake. I'm not going to do that to the motorcyclist.
Wow.
Wow.
So it just pulses the brakes?
It just pulses the brakes. This episode is proudly brought to you by Magna. Magna is a mobility technology company that is super unique because they touch every aspect of almost every car in the market, especially a lot of electric vehicles, and they even can produce vehicles from the ground up. Now, you may remember I shot a series just recently testing some of their new electric vehicle powertrains, so stay tuned for a lot of Magna content to come. We're going to be going in depth with some really interesting topics with these guys, and Out of Spec wants to thank Magna for sponsoring this review and tons of other videos to come right here on Out of Spec. We look forward to working with Magna to define and find out what the future of mobility looks like. Man, it really jams the brakes when it does that. So that's the second jab. There's the third jab. And now it's slowing down. Pretty gently. Still doing lane centering. No hazard lights. Oh, throttle. And then it's coasting at 5. So you'll make it to your destination.
Very efficiently.
Yeah.
So that was basically a driver in unresponsive condition. And
Yeah.
as we could see, it's a bit scary.
Yeah, so we try and simulate, part of these tests is also trying to force automakers into making their systems safer if there's a medical emergency behind the wheel. And I've never seen a system operate like this before. I wouldn't say it's inherently dangerous. We'll get to the scoring in a second. But I've never seen one that just drives 5 miles an hour. Like, why wouldn't it stop at that point, like a lot of other vehicles? Because if you're stopped, you have an emergency, there's no hazards, there's no horn, someone's going to think you're just driving slow.
Yeah.
And they're not going to run up and get you help.
It's a bit scary. So we do give it a couple points for brake pulsing, which is an interesting feature, I guess.
That's really nice.
The only thing it gets. It doesn't shake your seats. There's no exterior horn, no hazard lights to let people know you're unresponsive. It does not bring you to a complete stop. Fortunately, the steering does not let go without warning like some other cars.
Right.
So at least it kept the lane even at 5 miles an hour, which in theory, 5 miles an hour makes it more reliable in the lane centering because it's so slow.
Sure.
And it does not pull over to the shoulder. So
no car does right now. But
Yeah.
we future-proofed the test.
yeah, so we're ready to award points. Who's the first automaker?
Right.
Let's do the drive.
Let's go.
So we have a couple points for the drive itself. And these are deductions at this point. So we're starting the test with a really impressive plus 16.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Big points at the beginning.
One of the best we've seen. But now is when it determines if it will stay positive or go into the negative.
I think this is the first hands-free marketed system that we are running in the Hogback.
You're correct. So we will basically take a point away if Kyle has to take over for safety, which is ultimately up to his discretion. But if it starts going over a lane, he'll take over because that is a point taken away. We take away 2 points if it disengages, but still lets you know, like, hey, system can't keep up.
Right, like I can't make it, like you need to help me.
Yeah. And then 3 points are taken away if it just disengages with no warning, which I don't think it'll do, but
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I haven't spent enough time with BlueCruise to really know how it's going to do, because this is a really challenging section of road. We have a lot of traffic around, which makes the test a little bit not standardized because we can't control the flow each time. We try to stay in the the lanes where we try and have the same cars hit the same obstacles as much as possible. It's as good as we can get in the real world, really. But today seems like abnormally amounts of traffic.
Yeah. And I'll be curious to see, because I've done a little bit of BlueCruise with Mustang Mach-E and a little bit with this. Initial impressions, Mach-E seems a bit more capable, but
You think so? Interesting.
Should
we rip it on the highway?
We'll see. Oh yeah. Gotta get up to
Roasting
speed.
tires. Just so smooth, so quiet. And we're already way over the speed limit. So we always drive exactly the speed limit in this test. So we're gonna get ourselves locked in by the time we hit the sign. There we go. And now we're just waiting for the system to engage. Sometimes they don't engage on the corners. BlueCruise on, we're good. Oh wait, I turned it off by accident. We gotta make some lane changes here. This is always the hard part, getting the negotiation of the start of the test done. So we are technically on the system at the moment, and we're just in traffic. No points deducted at the moment. That truck is working hard. So, we have the hands-free on the logo.
There we
So
go.
technically I can just kind of sit back like this if I feel brave enough. As long as my eyes watch the road, there's 2 sensors, one here on the right, one here on the door, that are actually tracking not only my face but my eye movements to determine where my vision is looking forward. So this is a form of DMS, or driver monitoring system, that is becoming increasingly popular in vehicles. We've seen it from BMW, Mercedes, GM, of course, famously with Super Cruise. Now it says keep hands on steering wheel. BlueCruise just shut off, and I imagine that's because it's a tight corner. No points deducted for that, but
Still.
we made it without touching the line.
That was close.
So line touch is a -1 point, but we have a subjective score at the end that we can give it a drunk driving score. Which is basically, did it drive technically within the lines, but so poorly a police officer would pull it over.
Which some cars do, for sure.
Right, some cars do. And so right now the hands-free portion is off while we're in the tricky section of this test, and I'm here just monitoring it, not providing any influence. But wow, it's really doing these corners
That's pretty good.
pretty sweet. Better than I expected.
Yeah, I've noticed it ping-ponging a bit on my normal driving. But...
I notice a lot of ping-ponging when straight, and I don't know if it's this particular truck, but have you noticed... No, we didn't touch.
Ooh.
Have you noticed that it hangs towards the right side of the lane?
Yes.
Which is the wrong side, I think, to hang towards. And it could be that the camera is out of alignment slightly, but this is the truck Ford gave us that, hey, they know what tests we're going to do. You'd think they'd get it prepared. Back to hands-free now. One issue I have with this system, and I'm going to give it a -2 for this.
Okay.
Ready? Subjective input.
Yep.
It does not ding at you when it goes from hands-free to not, which means you technically have to take your eyes off the road to know to touch the steering wheel.
Yep.
Which seems wrong. And we always try to drive in the right lane when possible on this test, so we'll merge over. No auto lane change. As soon as I'm over, though, you can see it re-engages, and I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, hands-free. No, but yeah, no audible ding.
Now we're off of hands-free. No ding. It's just doing this, so which means I actually have to touch the wheel now. It's a little cumbersome, this whole transition.
Yeah, so it's not a capacitive wheel, unfortunately. How much torque is required for it to notice?
Just a tiny amount. It likes consistent torque. Now we're back to hands-free. So, ripping it. Now that we're kind of going down a straight section of road, it seems to be doing a pretty good job here.
Yeah, definitely hugging the ride a little bit, feels like.
It does.
That's how it is turning hands-free on and off, is just by seeing the, I guess, difficulty of the road ahead.
Yeah, so I think it uses the pre-mapped data in the system to say, hey, that's a sharp corner, we want your hands on the wheel, is my guess.
Yeah.
So what vehicles is BlueCruise available in, Jordan? Do you know?
No.
Is it just the Mach-E and the Lightning?
I know it's those two, but I don't know if it is any others.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have it in other Ford products. That would be an interesting one to look up. And interestingly, the vehicle only tells you its state of charge when you're in hands-free mode.
Yeah. Hands-free
I see 61% down here.
Screen.
Calm screen or hands-free.
ways.
If you're just driving normally, you have to go deep into settings to see your state of charge. See, hands-free is now off. It should have given me a audible warning.
Yep.
So I think my -2 subjective feedback is fair.
That's valid, yeah.
Yep. In terms of just the truck, a comment about it on the highway. So quiet.
Yeah. I would road trip this for sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit too soft to the point where it floats, but it makes road trips very comfortable, at least unladen. Back to hands-free again. And no issues with the exits coming on and off. Colorado's a weird state where we don't have lines dotting where exits and on-ramps merge with the highway. And so a lot of driver assistance systems view those as wide lanes and end up moving the car. But in a situation like this, it seems to be doing pretty well, although I did notice
a tiny bit of a veer,
tiny bit there.
But not too much.
I'm going to stay just behind the truck here. Oh, it went back to hands on the wheel, didn't even know. Just because this section gets very difficult for these systems.
Yeah.
We also have someone merging on.
It is only Mach-E and F-150 Lightning.
It is. Okay. Well, this person's hitting the brakes. They should have just floored it. Wrong decision. And, oh, we got people stopping. I don't know what's going on. But it did it just fine.
Yeah, no freaking out there. It's good.
Yep, I would say. So now we get into some corners. As the test progresses, it gets increasingly difficult, I would say.
Some increasing radiuses in the corners.
Mm-hmm. But so far, it's not going hands-free, so I imagine for this corner, it wants my hands on the wheel, which I am happy to do so. I'm going to merge it over to the right, because this gets pretty difficult here, too. So let's see if we can lock it in. Nope. I tried to have it do this, but wouldn't engage in time. Now that we're back to straight, back on the system. That would have been an interesting one.
Yeah.
We'll have other opportunities to kind of confuse it here. I-70. Yeah, I would say this is a good system. I've driven on just the Copilot 360 portion before hands-free BlueCruise launched sometime earlier this year or end of last year. I think it was earlier this year it launched to the public, and really enjoyed the system. Drove a Mustang, Mach-E across the country a couple times actually, and used the system almost exclusively. And thought it was very good.
Yeah.
And even here we're seeing really good competence. I am noticing, of course, that right lane hugging. And a little bit of this wallowiness, trying to just kind of figure out where to be in the lane.
Yeah,
but it's like not sharp or aggressive.
It's not drunk. It's just,
it's just
meandering a little bit.
Yeah, meandering is the word. Thank you. But now we're back to hands on the wheel. Doesn't tell you. Oh, little confusion from the system there.
That was,
Yeah, it lost the lines there. For
Yeah, I think it lost the lines, yep. But no points deducted because it technically did it. Beautiful views. Now that the snow's starting to melt, it's not as dramatic as it was when we shot our last Hogback.
yeah.
But how would you compare this to the Rivian so far, Jordan?
I mean, I guess pretty similar. It's just impressive that a vehicle this size can do it. I know we have so much technology now, but I'm pretty confident in it. Although,
Oh, -1.
yeah, as I say that.
Oh, and it was going to go out the other side too. I caught it.
Is that -2?
No, because I technically got it. It could have.
Yeah.
I didn't want to send the wrong message to everyone around us, but I think there has to be a subjective, either drunk or meandering score that gets tied into.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to hands-free. I do like how we have motor and battery pack temperatures on the screen here, average temperatures, which is very nice.
no state of charge.
When it's hands-free, we're at 59% state of charge. But I wouldn't know that unless we're hands-free. And I think when you're, the reason we chose this area for our test for our viewers this might be the first Hogback they've ever seen. This is about as difficult as a public major highway gets in the U.S. Our highways are pretty much dead straight in this country with an occasional turn. And so if it can kind of work here, it works pretty much anywhere, is the idea. And I would say, at least so far, very, very impressed. And better than I expected it to be. So hands-free shut off here. I really think Ford needs to add a chime as soon as possible in the next, I think they call them, what do they call them? Power-up software updates?
Oh.
Right?
They love all their little names.
They have a probe, they name everything. All right, let's try not to get speared by a pipe.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
But for the test,
I was already planning my duck.
Just
Oh, well.
have a pipe go through.
I've seen 6 Underground. I know what to do. Oh, it's really hugging it.
It is, but it's doing it.
Yep.
Oh, now it's on the inside. Oh, that's a touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a -1. Not bad, though.
Really tighter than others.
Right, I don't know why that was more difficult. Goes to the outside, but didn't touch the line there. Still hands-free. And work zone 55, will it notice? But it did not adjust the speed to it. Oh, because I have speed limit assist off. That's my mistake. Can you go settings, driver assistance, speed limit assist on? Speed warning set to 0. Now it should, so tolerance is at 0.
Yep.
Yeah, now it should go to the speed limits.
All right.
Okay, we'll test that. That was my mistake for not getting the truck set up properly ahead of the test. We're gonna just kind of jump in the middle lane and go by the Ram ProMaster. Locked on, hands-free. It is nice to not have to keep your hands on the wheel.
Yeah, I
just
really liked that more than I expected.
So you've used the system a little bit then?
Yeah.
And yeah, so hands-free, I have not spent enough time with it, but I'm just loving it.
Because it is annoying to keep dragging the wheel.
Yeah, do you keep having to put torque in, you're interacting? Now I can just kind of sit back, put the massaging seat on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What massage? I'll go for the full recovery on max intensity. Ooh, McLaren. Oh, that's the gumball cars in the FF.
Yeah.
That's not gumball. What rally is it?
I forgot. I'm going to do relax recovery on medium.
What rally is going on? I know Rally North America is going on, and Gold Rush.
Gold Rush, that's what that was.
Okay. Can we make it past the school bus? We have to go the speed limit. It's going way too close to the school bus.
Wow.
And the school bus was kind of coming close to us.
Yeah,
That was you grabbing the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that was, it needs to scooch for cars. Scooch technology's out there, that's a -1.
Yeah.
You know, like the Ioniq 5 would have moved to the other side of the lane for that.
So now we're coming up to trickier bits.
This is where it gets, if it can do this. And you also mentioned we're going to do a new style of Hogback, where we're not going to make everyone ride with us on the return.
Yeah, we figured it can do, if it can do it on the way out, it can probably do it relatively well on the way back. We'll, of course, throw in portions where it does fail.
We're going to keep the cameras running the whole time, but only show you the highlights.
Yeah,
on
and then
the return.
the total score at the end, like usual.
Yep. Unless people start complaining, they're like, put the whole thing in. We got the footage. We can. But we're just trying to tighten it up a little bit. Uh-oh, Tesla. They definitely didn't run out of charge because it's on the downhill. Flat tire. We got a spare in here somewhere?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so it...
Tesla spare?
Yeah. What happened was it had switched from hands-free to hands on the wheel. I was not staring at the screen because I was trying to do hands-free.
They don't chime about
and then it yelled at me for not putting my hands on the wheel. And now we're back to hands-free. So it's like...
Yeah, it seems like a really good system, but that's the one...
That's the one thing. And I remember someone asked Ford about this, and I can't remember their response. But I think they said they were going to add it in a software update. They were like, oh, that's interesting. We'll add that.
Yeah, like a toggle you can turn on and off if you want it or something.
Sure, yeah.
So much you can do with software nowadays.
Yeah, I just feel like they're such a litigious company that they would have that in there already.
So at what point will it turn off hands-free? Because we're coming up to the tightest corners.
Up to real tight stuff. So right there.
Yep.
So it does it about 1/8 of a mile before a corner, I would say.
Yep.
All right, so it's actually hitting the brakes there. And it's doing all this. I'm just covering the wheel. Wow. A little jerky on the wheel.
Yep.
First time I felt it, but that's okay. Here's a tough one because the right side turns into an exit. It's got to hug the left. It says resume control, so that's a -1, right? Because it did it with warning.
-2 is with warning.
-2 is with warning. Okay, sorry. So that's -2. Now we're back on the system.
Yeah.
That's good. It should beep at you. And the nice thing is it was still trying to do it the best it could. This gets really tough here. Okay, hit a line. That's a -1. Oh, it's still going.
Wow.
There's a debris.
Yeah.
Parts
Definitely doesn't dodge debris. Yeah, -1 there. But that was like a butt pucker moment.
Yeah.
Doing it through here will always get the heart racing depending on the car. And
really a lot of human
going
drivers
wide.
don't do it well either.
It didn't hit the line, but it definitely drove drunk. I just grabbed the wheel to say I'm still here. Definitely
Wow, yeah.
pissed that person off, I'm sure, going going wide. But it did it. Wow. I'm surprised it can do corners this aggressive. And just
a lot of ping
little
pong.
torque in. Yeah, it's
that's-
not doing it well. But this is the toughest part of the whole challenge. And the final corner. Sometimes it's nice when the car actually messes up and takes the exit for us.
It'd be good to deduct it, but it is nice. We'll
Right.
see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, some cars hug the right instead of left, so they just end up taking us off the highway. And it just went straight there,
Beautiful.
as it should. Very nice. And test halfway done.
Yeah.
I would say my personal impression was I'm pretty shocked, actually. I'm surprised it's that good.
Better than I expected, for sure.
And so we'll give you the whole tally and score at the end. We're going to keep the cameras running, and we'll share our final impressions. But just shocked at I didn't think it was going to be able to do half of the stuff it did.
Yeah, I am impressed. We'll see what happens on the way back.
I feel like it's worse on an open highway because it does this sort of wandering thing on just straight roads.
Yeah, with this, it like has curves to hide the meandering.
Yeah, and I think the wind is what affects it. Every time that I've seen it wander on the road, we've had a bit of a side wind.
Yeah.
So that could be. Anyway, we'll turn around and we'll let you know how it goes at the end.
Proper.
Oh, touch the inside. That's a -1.
Touching the inside about that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense, but I guess it's trying to...
Apex.
Yeah, this is where every system freaks out. Because, Drew, you see where the lines are gone?
Yeah.
Right there? They just... So let's see what this does. But the pre-mapping should help. Didn't even care.
Wow.
Okay.
That was amazing.
That's really good.
That was really good. Oh! Touched the outside line there, though. -1. Oh! -1. I let it go real close, but...
Yeah. Well, it's cool to see.
All right, Kyle messed up. It's actually speed sign recognition, which is hidden inside cruise control.
Right.
So that's where
It's not speed limit assist. It's
Yeah.
the speed sign
which
recognition.
also has its own tolerance.
Right, which is set to 2 over, but I'm going to set it to 0.
Yep.
And that will now just follow the speed limit that the truck picks up.
Perfect.
It thought it hit a line, but it did not hit a line. So it loses no points, but it freaked out.
Yeah. False negative?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, -1.
Yeah, that's a little sketchy.
It was just kept going.
It loves that dump
trailer.
truck.
That was sketchy. That's what I don't like about this system, is it doesn't seem to be aware of other users.
Yeah, which is
Of
weird
the
because they
road.
have all the sensors.
They have all the sensors. Yeah. It's just only respond. Like if no cars were on the road, this would be a great system.
Yep.
And it's like they tested it in a vacuum chamber.
Yep.
Oh, touch the line, -1. I don't know why it did that.
Just doesn't
Wow,
exactly
it's
know.
doing a lot worse.
It's doing worse on the way back. Sun's directly overhead, no difference. Much less hands-free action on the return.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just like literally just barely take a nap, put sunglasses on with eyeballs.
Right.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you just slow down to 5 miles an hour.
You're right, yeah, you still get there.
Oh, is it going to take it?
What's it gonna do here? Goes a little bit right, but no, that felt good.
Wow.
This is really a nicely
Yeah.
tuned system.
Some things are.
Oh, but it's slowing down. Read the wrong speed limit sign, 35, and it was
Oh my
slowing
God.
down for that. That's a
Somewhere
-1.
way over there.
I don't know how it saw the 35 or if it used the map, but it was definitely going to go 35 on the highway.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now-
I don't know what
now it
that
does think
categorizes
65
as, but
again.
that's a -1.
Yeah, just another.
Subjective
Yeah.
input.
So-
Right. Oh, car next to us. Is it going to do the corner? Yes.
Okay.
It does not instill confidence on corner entry, though.
No.
Oh, whoa!
Runaway
Whoa!
truck ramp.
Wait,
That's us.
It says resume control, -2.
Oh, man.
Runaway truck. It said, take me out of my misery.
We were a runaway truck just then.
I mean, I have control of it, but
You should have let it go. See
Yeah.
what happened.
why is it doing so much worse on the return than it did on the way up?
I don't know.
And that had lines.
Maybe it's the downhill versus uphill.
That was downhill with speed. It was
Just like
bit-
trying to turn. Maybe it's got like a torque limitation.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa!
Yeah, we're on the. Is it?
Yeah, it's no, it didn't say
Really
take
drunk.
over.
Yeah.
Still
that's where
hands-free.
If I'm a cop,
Wow.
it's like, yep, that was the one.
Yep, that's the one you would definitely pull someone over. So that's -1,
Yeah.
but it hit it twice, so that's a -2.
Yeah.
There's no way that's getting away with a -1. And
All
will
right.
it take our exit for us? The answer is negativo.
Nope.
Which is good, but we'll exit here, and that's the end of the Hogback,
So
the full loop.
yes, until that last horrible long corner, it was tied with the Rivian.
Really,
But
it was
last,
that good.
Yep, but that last corner of a few points taken away brought it finally down to -4, which is still good.
Wow, that is not bad.
But, yeah.
-4 is not bad.
Yeah, I
But
think.
it had a lot of starting points,
Yeah,
right?
it did.
So I think the actual driving bit of it
Yeah.
was significantly worse than how the Rivian did.
Yeah, you had 10 driver takeovers, couple auto disengagements, and then a couple of our own points of editor's input, like doesn't ding from hands-free to not. A couple times meandering. We didn't really have outright drunk driving, but it was enough meandering to.
Well, that last bit was
yeah.
just drunk and high driving. I
Yeah.
don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, and then yeah, just reading the wrong sign on that speed limit was sketchy.
That was weird. Yeah. Anyway, so what's the final score?
Yeah, final score is -4.
-4.
Which is really good.
Not bad. And if people are interested to see how other vehicles are run in our Hogback Driver Assistance Challenge, you're more than welcome. Ooh, nice Mach-E in a good silver color.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to take a look at the link in the description. It'll bring you to the spreadsheet Jordan is filling out right now, and you can look objectively how they do in our test, but also it's very important, I think, to supplement that with our impressions behind the wheel.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of how the system operates. My feeling is, wouldn't hesitate about driving across the country in this.
Yeah.
Super comfortable, good system. Just when it has any sort of major turns, that's where it kind of lacks a little bit.
Yep.
So let's just go home now, flooring it, spinning tires. It is amazing how quick an F-150 can be when you electrify it.
Yeah, it feels weird being this big and this fast.
Yep. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. See you on another Hogback challenge soon.